Yo, it is Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk, guys. Welcome back, and thanks for tuning into this episode of World of Tanks. I've got my coffee. We have a T-34S, the shielded from Catfoil. Catfoil is the name. This is apparently one of the accounts that was built with my CC code for the contest. So you get a T-34S, you get a couple weeks of premium, some equipment, and you can rage around the battlefield in your T-34S, the shielded version. This is an upgraded T-34 that the Russians, I don't know if they actually ever put that into service or if it was a test bed or what, but they figured their T-34 needed a little bit more armor facing some of the bigger Russian guns and tanks, probably mid to late war. And don't know if it ever got put in. Someone will probably tell us down there in the comments, won't they? But we are on some map called Siegfried Line, spawned into the south, headed to the north into the town. This is a tier 5 and 4 battle. It was a pretty good setup for a T-34S. No gold is going to be run. This, since it's a new account, I'm assuming we're trying to grind out some credits so we can go ahead and buy tanks with our new account. A KV1 that's going to be a little rough trying to deal with him with no gold. Let's see what the pen on this is. It's got standard APCR. Wow, okay. With 120 penetration. He's going to have to do a little work on a KV1, I think. But let's see what happens. There's a KV1 right there. But he's around the corner. So Catfoil is going to push into a spot that I like to use, but can easily be overwhelmed if you don't get any support. And so far his team is doing a lot of sitting back. Of course, it's comprised of a bunch of TDs, so that makes it problematic. You've got to sort of look at the lineup of the tanks and decide whether the TDs you have are the kind that are going to move forward, right? Are they more typically sit back TDs? Are they any kind of assault TD? Wolverine, maybe, yeah, you could expect that to maybe move around and get into the front. IKV, not so much. Hetzer, it depends. Some Hetzer guys are pretty offensive, I guess you would say. The 76 FT and the Su-76M, probably not. Maybe mid to late game. So Catfoil is working in the middle and has spent a lot of time. Now, we're 2 minutes into it, and he's finally found himself a shot. Kind of wandered around in there a little bit. I think I would have stood in against the Wolverine until he started turning his turret towards me, because I think you would have at least got 2, maybe 3 shots before he started to react to you. Wolverine does hit fairly hard. Has pretty good pin. Here comes the Matilda. This guy just rages across. Don't know what this is all about, but we can go ahead and get some nice aim shots. There we go. Dude's going up on a wall. All right, so let's just, oops, holy cow. Got rid of the HUD. Let's just talk about this for a minute. Instead of sitting here angled like that, why not tuck your nose in and side scrape out a little bit? This is kind of asking for him to take some shots. We shift to the turret, and he just machine guns. And that's what I'm talking about. I don't think there's any reason really to take all those hits. And I finally take him down. With a bit of a side scrape, I think you had a reasonable expectation of bouncing a few of those that went through. The Valentine AT, now that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes you get tanks you wouldn't necessarily expect, especially at low tiers like this. Especially in games with a lot of TDs. Sometimes you get that aggressive TD player. They can make a difference for the team. Picking apart. Same thing here. I think I would just stand in and just continue to shoot this guy as long as he gave me the option to do so. It looks like maybe now he's pointing at you. Alright, another thing we can be doing is investigating what's going on back here. Going around and maybe helping these guys as well. You've had shots here, that's a good thing. But there is a lot of badness going on behind you back there. There you go, zoom in and start hitting this guy. Yes, very nice. Snuck one right through there. Those arches, for everybody from this position, they are places that you can sneak shots through. It does make it somewhat problematic for the red team to deal with somebody on this corner who's able to snipe through those holes right there. So we're up to 994, pretty good damage. Team is losing a 1-5. So what do we need to do? Probably need to try to change this fight. I think exploring this other side might be a good idea. There's also this IKV behind us. Probably could get in there and start taking him down. But we still have shots, so we're going to keep on working here. Get a little bounce off of the Sherman. He sneaks one through. Puts a hit on you as well, but it is a crit, no damage, which will work. Okay, IKV time. He's still back there. I think really at this point, instead of messing around in this little hidey hole, just change the fight a little bit, turn around. Those guys are stuffed. They're probably not going to move forward for a little bit. And all of a sudden we get the other Matilda sneaks around, puts a hit on us. But you've got a definite problem starting to develop behind you. And probably an opportunity to start shooting some of those guys and take them down. Hetzer comes in, backs out, we turn around, we see it. There's the Wolverine. So the Wolverine did not like where you were and decided to go do something about it. Ooh, ow. Okay, so be careful about that. That's one of the problems with this spot. When they start coming up on that ramp and threatening you and they force you out a little bit, all of a sudden you're getting crossfire from that direction and potentially this direction if they're able to come around you on this side. And they're just about able to. You got the Lukes holding them off, and that's about it. Everyone else is dead, and we're at 2 to 6. Now we're getting pummeled by the Matilda. There you go. Got a little shot into him. Oh, just not quite enough. All right, and here comes that AT. Remember I talked about that. TD players that are a little bit aggressive, even though it's a TD you wouldn't expect it. But this is that mid to late game. Look at the advantage they have. That's when these guys will start feeling like they're able to push forward. And they're going to add their gun into what's turning out to be an absolute collapse. So this is why this position's hard. The other problem about this position is it's hard to get out of. So I do advocate it. I do like it. I end up having these kinds of games, though, where you knock out a lot of damage, but you can't really do anything because your team is sitting so far back and not trying to get into the city at all. A few mistakes right there as far as exposing yourself once you start fighting these guys. And now you've just got to decide which dude is the guy you need to take on first. And obviously it's the AT. A little backward side scraping isn't going to hurt. That's not a bad idea. There we go. Put an angle on him. I think you're a little over-angled right there if you look at it. So you probably want to shift your hold just a bit. You're trying to hope that this Wolverine isn't able to use his gun depression and get down underneath you. There we go. Put a shot on him. See how he's just able, and that's a bummer because it looks like he got into his gun or his mantlet right there. And the Wolverine actually got the kill shot with HE on your roof right there. Another option would have been to just drive out of this and try to go around the AT, but you'd have run into the IKV and probably the Hetzer and some other guys eventually. Here comes the M4A1 also, so it was going to be very difficult to get out of there. The last possibility is to make a runner for this opening, but of course there's all kinds of guys around, so I think you probably got as much damage as you were going to get out of this. And with 1400 damage, taking a good strong forward position and your team didn't support / died, there's not a whole lot you were going to do with this game other than farm as much damage as you could. Really nicely done though with no gold ammo. Right, we got 1400 damage, we blocked 810. So the shielded, this was a bit over angled, like I said at the end game. You might have been able to bounce another shot or two off the Valentine with a little less of an angle against him right there. More angle to him, right? All right, that is all I have got for you, man. Thanks for sending that in. Enjoy the new account. We will see you.